About half the people I talk to can't move forward with their apps because they don't know how to pick the right app development platform. Now, we have a video that goes into all the details and intricacies of choosing different no-code app development platforms. So we're not going to dive into that in this video. Instead, we are going to address a bigger problem that happens before and sometimes after looking through the details of different platforms. This is going to help you finally make a decision and move forward with your app so you can launch, start bringing users on board, and start monetizing your app-based business. Now, first, if you're new around here, my name is Kristen, and I'm the co-founder of Coaching No Code Apps, where we help business owners and industry experts build custom apps to either start their app-based businesses or grow their existing businesses, all without coding and with no technical background required. Now, this is a big topic. A lot of people, maybe you included, have an app idea. They've come into the no-code space. They want to create their app-based business or build an app to scale their existing business, but they just can't move forward. And it's a constant back and forth on, should I use this platform? Should I use that platform? Which one is going to serve my needs the best? Now, I want you to think about it this way. Instead of trying to figure out which platform is going to suit your long-term needs, that's what's holding you back, right, from making a decision. I want you to figure out which one is going to suit your most immediate needs, okay? Now, instead of thinking 3 to 5 years down the road and thinking which app development platform is going to still enable me to scale and expand and grow my app at that time, 3 to 5 years from now. Instead of thinking about that, think what app development platform is going to allow me to start bringing on users 3 to 5 months from now. Okay. The reason you can't make a decision is because you are worried about things that could potentially happen years and years down the road, right? That's the reality. It's not, you're not having trouble moving forward because you can't figure out, which platform you like. You can't move forward because you're thinking so far ahead and you can't find the answers to all of those what if scenarios that you're thinking of that could come up down the road. But the reason why you can't find the answers to those is because you don't actually know what they are. You don't know what they are. You're never going to know what those problems might be that arise 3 to 5 years from now, or what if scenarios do come up until you actually start. If you're stuck in this place where you just can't make a decision to move forward, you will never actually get to the point of knowing which different challenges you might face down the road. But here's another thing, all right, because right now you're probably thinking, yeah, but I still don't want to run into all these problems down the road. I want to make sure I choose the right app development platform. I get that. One thing I want you to change is the way in which you think of challenges and failures, right? A lot of people, they have trouble, even if they find an app development platform that seems to suit their needs pretty well, because I see this happen a lot. They still can't move forward because they're stuck on the thought that, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, I'm going to have to move away from the platform and it's going to be this big failure, big catastrophic event for my app, right? You have to stop thinking of changes with your app or with your business as failures or catastrophic events, right? That's not what they are. Think of them as advancements. No matter what you're doing, no matter what type of app you're building, no matter what type of business you're building, you are going to reach points where you have to change things, where you have to restructure your business potentially, right? You don't know if these things are going to happen, but things are going to happen. Or I should say you don't know which ones are going to happen, but things are going to happen. That's just the nature of business. But if you look at these as big problems or catastrophic events, then you will not be able to move forward ever. You don't know what they are yet, but you're still not going to be able to move forward because you're so worried about solving them now. You can't solve them now. You can't know what they are. So instead of thinking about them as big failures, catastrophic events, massive problems with your app or with your business, think of these things as advancements, changes you might need to make to your app or to your business that advance your app and your business. Okay? Because this is the reality. Unless you get to the point where you are needing to potentially make advancements, you don't have a business. You don't have a business. Any business is going to experience changes, evolutions, advancements. That's what a business is if you're looking to grow a business. Until you start figuring out which changes and advancements need to be made, you just don't have a growing business yet. Okay, so instead of thinking really far out, rein it in, think about just building your business to start. Okay, so you can actually get to the point, so you can actually have an app and a business in the first place. Okay, so this is a really common mindset, and it's hard to move away from because as someone who is likely very entrepreneurial, who has a business oriented mindset, you likely are thinking ahead. You are likely a visionary. You have lots of ideas. You want to build and grow different things. And it's hard not to think about all of these steps down the road that could be coming your way, right? It's kind of instinctive. But you have to step away from that and you have to look more so in the immediate, because think about what is better. Having a problem present itself because you've actually gotten started in the first place and you're actually growing your business, you actually have paying customers, right? And having a problem or an advancement come your way, or never actually figuring out what those problems or advancements are going to be because you just haven't gotten started because you're so worried about all of these what ifs, right? Which one do you want? Because the first one, coming up against different challenges or advancements, it is inevitable, right? The second one, you don't have a business. You haven't built any traction. So think about it from that perspective, okay? Remember, the problems, the changes, the things that come up, those what if scenarios that you're worried about, that all of us worry about, think of them as advancements and evolutions in your business. Put on your scientist hat and think about this as an experiment versus something that, if you make one decision, like with an app development platform, that it's going to have these catastrophic consequences. It's not going to, right? Take this different perspective so that you can move forward and start building traction. Okay. Now, if you choose an app development platform, that's what we're talking about here, even though we're looking at it from a much higher level, and you did need to change down the road for some reason. Again, this is just another advancement. Now, I want to say first that for us, at least personally, we don't find that people end up needing to move away from app development platforms that serve their immediate known needs. Right? We use Bubble, for example. And of course, if you're using an app development platform that's just for testing purposes mostly, or that's really template based, and your goal is really just to do kind of like a litmus test with your app or with your idea, then yes, you can expect to move away from that if you're just in the prototyping stage. But if you found an app development platform like Bubble, for example, that does suit your needs and that will allow you to customize your app and build an actual reliable and scalable product, chances are you don't need to worry about having to move away from it down the road. We don't see that happening, okay? And if you ever did need to, then you're in a really good place. You're in a really good place because, again, if you're at the point in your business or with your app where you are identifying these advancements that you need to make, right? That's a really good thing. It means you have a business that you have grown and scaled and that is actually requiring you to make these changes. Okay. But in terms of the app development platform specifically, I just don't see this happening. And so I want to give you the confidence to make a decision and to move forward. And instead of thinking, okay, what's gonna suit my needs 5 years from now, when you have literally no idea what those needs are going to be, you can't know yet until you've started. So instead of thinking that, think about what's going to allow me to get my first 5, 50, 500 paying users. What's going to allow me to do that? Because you have to get there first before you can take the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 steps, right? You have to get there first in order to evolve your company at all. So make sure that you're actually thinking about what's going to allow you to take steps forward now. The other thing, right, that 5 years from now, it's irrelevant until you take the first step. Okay. Now, the other thing that I really want you to keep in mind when you are deciding on using an app development platform, and this is a big one, a lot of people think, or they worry rather, that they're going to put all of this time and effort into building their app on their chosen platform and then figure out that they have to rebuild it on something else later on, right? That's really the big fear here, is that you'll get to a point where you have to move away and rebuild it somewhere else. So why would why put in the effort now in case that happens later on, right? Now, if that is a fear or a worry that you have, first off, you're not alone. Most people think that way. It's very normal. But also, you're probably not moving forward with your app and business. But I want you to think about it from this perspective. If, this is a big if, you had to move away from the app development platform that you're using, and moving away from that platform means that all the work you did was wasted, then you haven't done that much work. Okay? Building and launching an app, bringing users on board, growing an app-based business, it's about so much more than knowing how to use an app development tool. Okay? So yes, let's say again, in this big if scenario, you had to move away from the platform you were using. Yes, that means that you spent time learning how to use a tool. And now maybe you're going to go and spend time learning how to use another tool. But if that's the only thing you think is going to be going on in that scenario, it's a little bit presumptuous. It's a little presumptuous to think that that's the only thing you would learn throughout the process of creating your app, launching your app, and growing your business, right? If, in our hypothetical if scenario, you had to move away from the app development platform, okay, that you spent time learning how to use a tool. But what about all the time and all the knowledge now that you have that goes into knowing how to structure your application? Development platform aside, regardless of what you're using, what about all you've learned about how to, uh, you know, put the theory and the practices to use in your app that trained developers spend years studying and implementing into your apps. What about all of that strategic knowledge that you now have? Again, app development platform aside, what about all of that? What about all of the knowledge you now have on what your users need exactly in terms of a solution? Your knowledge on how to market and sell that solution, how to onboard your users, how to identify the barriers in the onboarding, how to optimize it, how to come up with a payment structure, how to convert users better, right? What about all of these things? If you think that, if you were hypothetically needing to switch a platform, if what you're losing is the time spent learning how to use that tool, I mean, it's just so much different than that, right? Think about it from a bigger picture. You're not losing a bunch of time and effort by hypothetically switching. You're gaining so much by having actually used something that allowed you to build an app and bring users on board. Right? Okay, if you have to switch, but look how much further ahead you would be if you actually got started in the first place. Okay, so I'm going to assume that if you were to build an app on a platform, and let's say you spent a year having users on board and being able to optimize it for your users. And I'm not just talking about the technical pieces, I'm talking about everything else that goes into building a business, right? If you were able to learn all of that, even if you had to switch to another platform for whatever reason, and you've gained so much and you have pushed your business forward tremendously further than if you had been stuck trying to figure out which platform to use in the first place. Okay, so focus on what is going to allow you to start bringing users on board 3 months from now versus what is going to be able to serve your needs 5 years from now. You don't know what those are, and you won't know until you start bringing those users on board. So what you need to do is, if you're at this point and you're watching this video, chances are you've looked at some different app development platforms. You think there are some that might suit your needs, but you're worrying about wasting time, getting to a point where you realize, oh, it doesn't suit your needs, down the road, and now you have to start over, right? That's probably the point where you're at, or you're somewhere around there. What I want you to do is identify your most immediate needs. That means looking at the problem that you are aiming to solve, the immediate problem with your immediate target market, right? What problem are you aiming to solve with your app? And what platform is going to allow you to start solving that problem for users? If you can find that, then you can actually leverage no-code tools in the most beneficial ways possible. You can do it soon. You can do it now. You can actually have paying users on board your app within a matter of months, and you can start growing your business. And as you go, your business will require different advancements, and you can address those as they come. And if at some point along the way, you decide that you want to move away from the app development platform that you're using, although unlikely, you can, right? You can. You can, because you're going to be making changes with your business anyways, but it's not something that you need to see as a problem right now, because the bigger problem is just not moving forward at all, right? And never actually getting those first users that are going to allow you to start growing your business. So this is a little bit of a real talk, heart-to-heart conversation, less technical. Like I said, we have the technical videos to help you choose a platform. This is the other half of the problem. So, choose the platform that's going to serve your most immediate needs, but make sure you go into it with this perspective so you can actually make a decision and start moving forward with your app. Now, if you are moving forward with your app if you've made the decision to move forward and you want to get started, we have a free workshop you can join in on. Now, it's going to guide you through some strategy for pulling your app idea out of your head and breaking it up into strategic development cycles. It's going to guide you through some different no-code tools that you can use to put this together. And it's going to move you forward in the right direction with your app, because getting started and getting started correctly is one of the hardest parts of this. Once you do, then you can start building some real momentum. And that's what I want for you. So if you want to jump in on that training, you can head to coachingnocodeapps.com/workshop. It's totally free, so you can sign up for it there. But I hope this was helpful for you. And I hope it helps you move forward with your app. Make the decision, move forward, get the users, build the business, and then address the different advancements you need to make and the different evolutions as they come. All right, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.